Good afternoon. My name is Peter, and I'm from Altcoin Mentors. And today I'm going to talk about Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ether, Ripple, and Bitcoin Cash. We're going to go over my two latest swing trades on Bitcoin and Litecoin. And we're going to do the daily technical analysis for the other coins as well. By the end of this video, you should have a clear idea of where Bitcoin and Litecoin swing trades are going in the near future, and also what to expect out of Ether, Ripple, and Bitcoin Cash. For more advice on trading and investing in crypto, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell button to be notified when we post new videos. So let's look at Bitcoin. So the other day, I'm looking at the Bitcoin charts, and the sentiment is very negative. So our long-term and our medium-term trend waves are down. So I'm looking for a signal to the downside on a swing trade. So what happened is that this is a swing sell signal. On a 4-hour basis, I'm looking for a sell signal, and my entry point would be at the bottom of this line. So if I want to go in, I want to go in right here. Basically, I'm waiting for confirmation. But as you can see, it never confirmed over here. So then it cleared up to the top, and I got a new color change, and I put my sell signal below this one right there. It went a little bit higher, but unlike before, what happened is that there was no confirmation to the top on the other color change. So I kept my limit order to the sell side in, and then overnight it came and filled me at 79.40. It broke below our short-term support at 6,900, and then I put my stop loss a little bit above below it to ensure a small profit. One of the reasons why I did that, I'll show you the Twitter account just to let you know what I did. So my first entry was 69.40, and I put my original stop loss at 7,200. But what I did though was, because I came off of a small loss the other day on a swing trade back to the downside, a very small loss, I decided to basically protect myself a little bit and move my stop loss. So that's really what I did. So now my stop loss has turned into a trailing stop at 68.80. So this gives me a lot of room because the low here is 66.71. So by putting it at 68.80, I'm giving myself a room of a 4-hour ATR. And I'm also guaranteeing myself almost close to the 1-hour ATR of 71. So this looks like a very good setup. Once it gets down to the 64.50 range, I'm going to be tightening up my stop because our next target is short-term support at 63.50. Below that is our next major support target of 5,900. And this is where we were before, in February, right around this point. So we're very close to it over here, and we're on a negative downtrend for our short-term and our intraday as well. So for a lot of you day traders, all I'm doing is taking shorts to the downside as well. If you do take a bounce, always remember that the higher time frames have preference. They always have a stronger signal. So because the higher time frames are negative, if you decide to go long off of a bounce, remember to take profits. They may be small, but it's better than taking a loss. So let's talk about Litecoin. So Litecoin is the same thing. On Litecoin, I got in a little bit faster. The reason is that it was near major resistance at about 123.50, this red line over here. So as it was going higher and higher and higher, it bounced off. It gave me a color change in confirmation. I got in at 120.25, and currently it's at 114.50. So I'm making a decent amount of money here. I put my trailing stop at 117.25. So what it does is it gives me a nice return on my money for a short-term trade. But as it gets closer to this line here, which are the lows from last week, I'm going to be tightening it up. If it turns back around, I might trail my stop loss to maybe in somewhere between the $2 and $4 range for the 1 hour and 4 hour ATR. But so far it looks pretty good unless there is a big pop to the upside. That's why I have a trailing stop. As always, remember that a trailing stop is basically an emergency brake. What you want to do is you want to be the captain of your trading ship, and you want to make decisions before you get stopped out. So it's better to take profit or take a loss without getting fully stopped out. So what you want to do is you want to become very active, and you want to be able to watch your trades. Because once again, this is just an emergency brake, which means that if everything goes wrong, then this is where you get kicked out at. So before we move on to Ether and Ripple, we hope that you're enjoying this video so far. You can follow us on Twitter and also on Telegram. We also have a model portfolio that you can check on as well. So let's look at Ether. So Ether has been going down. It did cross the 200 moving EMA on the 1 hour just for a little bit, and then it started to come back down. It's nearing major support at the 385 range, which is this red line. If it breaks this red line, I'll most likely enter a short-term trade down below to the lows of 363. So that gives me a pretty good profit ratio because you're looking at about a 5% profit. Now let's look at Ripple. So for Ripple, it's the same thing here. It tagged the 200 EMA very quickly. It went down, but unfortunately for me, because it had confirmed to the upside over here, unlike on Bitcoin and on Litecoin, the only place I could get in would be here after it took a big drop. And then now all I'm doing is really chasing, and I don't like to chase. I like to be a hunter. I like to wait for my spots and pick trades. So if this thing consolidates a little bit, then I might take a trade to the downside, but you know, that's a very iffy call because the downside is very, very close. So we're talking about maybe a 2.5 cent profit potential, and that's only if you take it at that point. It can go down further, in my opinion, down to 42 cents, which is the medium-term support. But until it breaks the 45, 46 cents range, I'll be willing to take profit over here. Now let's look at the Bitcoin Cash. So Bitcoin Cash is the same thing. As I've said before, if you've been following me on our Twitter page, Bitcoin Cash is in a zone called blue ocean, meaning that there's no major support around it. Because the next major support level is all the way to the bottom here at 525. So it entered this zone all the way at the top. So between 850 and 525, there's really nothing. So the yellow lines are short-term support or resistance lines. And so this line here at 625 has been holding pretty well, but still has the 200 EMA on the hourly. So, but once again, unlike BTC and Litecoin, it kind of moves very fast, just like Ripple. So when people decided to sell, it went down fast and hard. And if I'd gotten in, I could probably gotten in at like 640, but I've already would have missed about $30, $40 worth of profit. And once again, I don't like to chase. I like to wait. So for Litecoin and for Bitcoin, my setups were a little bit better. That's why I decided to take them. So let's go over a review of what we talked about today. So for Bitcoin, it's in a long-term, medium-term, short-term, and intraday negative mode. So all I'm doing is taking short signals to the downside. My next target is 63.50, and our major support level is 5,900. So for Litecoin, same thing. It's been pretty weak. It bounced off the major resistance at 123.50, and it's been heading down. My next target is about 111, and below that, we have medium-term support at around 106.50. But if it breaks to about 112, I'll trail it really tight because that's a decent amount of profit because I'm going to book about 8% in profit, and that's not bad, especially in the current market because right now the ranges are so tight. So if you look at this chart, so for the last 2 weeks, except for a couple of breakdowns, right, or break up, if you get rid of this little chart here, right, which is basically the outlier, basically Litecoin has been trading in a very, very tight range. I think the same thing can be said about Bitcoin as well. So if we change it to the hourly, you can kind of see it. So that if you take out this little outlier as it broke above 72.50, which is short-term resistance, it's been channeling in between a couple of short-term support and resistance zones, and it's been very, very tight for the last couple of weeks. So for Ether's in a downward spiral as well. Major support though is at 384, which is very, very close. If it bounces up, it can go higher, but only to about the 450 range, unless it has a major turn. Ripple is very, very weak. My next medium-term support is at 42 cents, and I'm looking forward to getting into a trade, maybe somewhere around the 48, 49 cent range if it cuts back to the 50 EMA up to the top. Same thing with Bitcoin Cash. If it gets to about 650, bounces back up, then I'd be willing to take a trade, because then I feel I could take profits around 625 to maybe like 595 range, and that is what I'm looking at. Because I don't want to be just like taking signals just to take signals. I treat this trading as a business, and I want to make sure that I can make a decent amount of money when I enter a trade. Well, we thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our channels on Twitter and on Telegram. If you like this video, please let me know by hitting the like button. Subscribe to our channel, and so share it with your fellow crypto traders. If you have any comments, please list them below. We do a very good job of responding very quickly. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.